While we studied our religious literature, believing that they contained the true words of God that will protect us, white oppressive forces studied instead how to hijack the group minds of targeted populations by exploiting their monopoly over information that their targets receive. They then used that gained knowledge to mentally enslave millions of black people. Our studies limited to religions have left many of us too far behind intellectually to understand the sophisticated methods of mind control that are presently being used against us. Therefore, we are easy victims for those who have thoroughly studied how the mind works and how to manipulate it. There are four ways to effectively manipulate the human brain in order to brainwash an entire generation of people. By what they are taught, by what they see, by what they hear, and through repetition. Because the white society controls the education that we are taught, the media image that we see, and the narratives that we repetitively receive, they've exploited these combined factors to brainwash millions of black people to think in ways that are against our own self-interest and that instead serves and protects the interests of their white society. It's the true reason why many black people are now self-loathing, perceives ourselves as being our own worst enemies, and reveres and defends our evil and racist oppressors in spite of such a brutally horrific history of the contrary. We were deliberately socially engineered to think in ways that are beneficial to the white societies. It's always by deliberate design whenever the oppressed population starts thinking exactly as their oppressors wants them to do so. And whenever those of us who knows this truth tries teaching it to the black masses, we get significant pushback from the ignorant ones that are insisting that the problem is caused by the silly slave syndrome myth. Our collective condition has nothing to do with a silly slave syndrome myth. We must gain a clear, concise, and accurate understanding of our plight and condition in order to liberate ourselves. Because if our understandings of our plight and conditions remains flawed, then all of our liberating strategies and remedies that stem from those flawed understandings will also be flawed. However, they've got our people so mentally enslaved that whenever we try to teach the truth to many of our people, we're often told to just be quiet and keep reading our Bibles. It's how the mentally enslaved have been brainwashed to literally function as wardens of their own mental prisons. Nonetheless, those of us who knows the truth must teach African proverb. In 1968, white social engineering scientists were hired by the Kerner Commission to thoroughly study the African American population in order to gain insights into that decade's unprecedented unified black protests. The unified protest demonstrated by African Americans during the 1960s still remains unrivaled by any other group in U.S. histories. Those social scientists determined that the African American culture needed to be fundamentally changed from what it was during the 1960s. White oppressive forces therefore fundamentally changed the African American culture by deploying an ideological subversion system against the entire African American population. Ideological subversion is an offensive psychological warfare tactic that uses disinformation and misinformation as a weapon to change people to think and behave in ways that are against their own self-interests. Through this ideological subversion system, they've changed our collective attitudes and values from what it was during the 1960s when we implemented the most successful protests in U.S. history. They changed us from calling ourselves brothers and sisters, which had a profoundly unifying impact upon our culture, to us now calling each other by the N word and the B word, which makes us more easier to be divided. They changed us from calling our oppressors crackers to now calling them white people. Therefore, we've been clearly changed to respect them more and to respect ourselves lesser. They've also changed us from knowing that white oppressive forces are our worst enemies to now wrongly perceiving ourselves as being our own worst enemies. They changed our definition of black heroes from being black leaders like Malcolm X and Dr. King to now being black celebrities and athletes as being our heroes. This is how they removed the theme of black liberation from our collective psyche. It's how they changed us from demanding black liberation to now only wanting a comfortable position within the system of white supremacy. They also brainwash us to revere our oppressors and to speak negatively of our own people. It's the truth of our collective condition. This elaborate ideological subversion system was deployed against the African American populations in response to the unprecedented unified black protests of the 1960s. It's how white oppressive forces neutralized the Black Power movement, and it's how they ensure that such level of unified black protests never happens again. It has changed the collective mindsets of millions of black people to think in ways that are against our own interests and brainwash us in ways that serve the white society. And the brainwashing effect of this ideological subversion system has been so effective that millions of black people now makes enemies of those of us who tries to restore their minds to its proper state. Now you've heard the truth of our plighted condition. Sadly, they've got our people so mentally enslaved that telling the truth now literally offends millions. White oppressive forces deploy an ideological subversion system against the black population. This is why our culture has fundamentally changed from what it was during the 1960s to what it is now. Brothers and sisters, it's time to wake up to our reality. We must gain the truth and then develop our proper counter strategies to liberate ourselves from it. One love and peace.